agenda portion of the meeting, we have ordinances on second reading. One, amend the management salary ordinance regarding provide for compensation pursuant to NJSA 26-2B32.
Mr. Anderson, members of council, with respect to that one, I noted while it's listed on the agenda, the correct site, there was a typographical error in the body of the ordinance, left out the number 26:2B before the 32-5. I'm going to ask for a resolution to amend, get to that during the regular portion of the meeting, and ask that it be carried for second reading until the 18th of October.
Okay. Number 2, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 3, Revenue and Finance, Chapter 3.28, Fee Schedule, Section 3.28.120, Parks and Recreation Fees, regarding amending recreation fees, basketball and soccer leagues, replacement ID cards for teen center and gym. No items on first reading. Resolutions: 1, approve agenda amendments. 2, approve payroll 9/16/17 and 9/29/17. 3, authorize refund for redeemed tax sale certificates. 4, approve relaxation of the city noise ordinance requested by Roman E&G Corporation, replacement electrical frames and manhole covers for PSE&G, located on George Street between Church Street and Byard Street, Saturday, October 14th, from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., alternate dates October 16th, from 9 to 5, October 18th, from 9 to 5, and October 28th, from 7 to 4. 5, approve request for use of city property and street closure, requested by Rutgers University crew at Boyd Park for Rutgers Fall Classic Rowing Regatta, street closure of Voorhees Street in front of the boathouse, dated Saturday, November 4th, 2017, time 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at police extra duty. 6, approve request for street closing requested by New Brunswick Police Department, New Brunswick Domestic Violence Awareness Coalition. Location begin at Mount Zion AME Church at 39 Morris Street, George Street, New Street, Joyce Kilmer Avenue, Sedan Street, Remsen Street, Avenue, Riverside Drive, Hildebran Way, and end at Mount Zion AME Church. For the 15th Annual Domestic Violence Awareness Rally in March, Saturday, October 28, 2017, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. 7, approve request for use of city property requested by RWJ Fitness and Wellness Center, Recreation Park, for family superhero workout for community participation. Saturdays in October 7, 14, 21, and 28, 2017, and November 4, 11, 18, and 25, 2017, time 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Number 8, authorized purchase by the Fire Department under State Contract A8096-1T-0790, firefighter protective clothing and equipment from New Jersey Fire Equipment doing business as Action Fire Apparatus for air packs not to exceed $151,153.20. 9, approve appointment of counsel John C. Mace Esquire of Mace and Christie, PC, for representation of Police Detective Carlos Sarantino in the matter of James C. Campbell versus the City of New Brunswick et al. Not to exceed $10,000. 10, approve amendment of Resolution R021742. The reason additional amount of $10,000 with Municipal Maintenance Company for mechanical and electrical maintenance and emergency repair work at the water treatment plant and pump station not to exceed $10,000. Approval of this change will not constitute an increase of 20% or more of the amount of the original contract. 11, approve amendment of Resolution R101627. Reason extension of contract for an additional 12-month period commencing October 6, 2017 and ending October 5, 2018 with Brunswick Lodging, LLC, doing business as Red Carpet Inn for emergency housing shelter. 12, approve Chapter 159 budget insertion. U.S. Bureau of Justice Assistance for Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant, amount $12,856.25. 13, approve amendment of Resolution R011736. The reason approve company merger from Bosch Tucker Hatfield LLC to the Werner Wall Group LLP. 14, authorized purchase by the water utility under New Jersey approved co-op number 65 MCES CCPS, the Educational Services Commission of New Jersey pricing system from Jesco Incorporated for one Indigo HD APF breaker with mounting bracket and one tool point not to exceed $40,817.77. Number 15, approve amendment of Resolution R091726. Reason authorize amended memorandum of agreement between the City of New Brunswick and the Township of North Brunswick for water relocation. 16, approve request for street closing requested by the New Brunswick Fire Department, Joyce Kilmer Avenue from Handy Street to Stevens Street for disaster relief kickoff event, Saturday, September 30th, 2017, time 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., non-pro tem. 17, approve amendment of resolution R091716, reason to pay additional legal fees in the amount of $1,808 to Christopher D. Adams, Esquire, of Adams, Buchan and Taylor, LLC, for representation of Thomas Lachlan III, City Administrator, in the matter of Arthur Anderson et al. Versus the City of New Brunswick et al. On punitive damage claims from $33,090.47 to $34,898.47. 18, approve request for use of city property requested by Taylor Carter, location Boyd Park Amphitheater for Prayer Day in the Park, Saturday, October 21st, 2017, rain date Saturday, October 28th, 2017, time 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., police extra duty. Number 19, approve amendment of resolution R091767, reason additional amount of $30,000 for the Department of Public Works with B&W Construction Company of New Jersey for equipment and labor not to exceed $30,000. Approval of this change will constitute an increase of 20% or more of the original contract. Number 20 is pulled. 21, approve off-premise raffle merchandise at 59 Beale Road, Campus Center, Rutgers University for New Jersey Forestry Association. The date is March 17, 2018. Number 22, approve off-premise raffle 50/50 at 59 Beale Road, Cook Campus Center, Rutgers University for New Jersey Forestry Association Incorporated, March 17, 2018. 23, approve request for use of city property requested by Crossroads Theater Company, Monument Square Park, for event celebrating the opening of Crossroads Theater Company's 2017-2018 season. The date is Sunday, October 15, 2017. Time, the park usage is 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. The event hours are 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. 24, approve authorization to advertise for on-site elevator inspection, specification number 646-18P. 25, approve amendment of resolution R071766, reason to extend the project from October 2nd, 2017 through October 31st, 2017. Approve relaxation of the city noise ordinance requested by Public Service Electric and Gas Company, PSE&G, reason PSE&G Gas Modernization Program Phase 2, dates Monday through Saturday, October 2nd, 2017 through October 31st, 2017, excluding holidays, time 7 p.m. to 6 a.m., non-pro tunc. 26, approve amendment of resolution R091733, reason to pay additional legal fees in the amount of $2,950 to Arleo and Donahue LLC for representation of Mayor James Cahill in the matter of Steve Middleton versus the City of New Brunswick et al. And Arthur Anderson et al. Versus the City of New Brunswick et al. On punitive damage claims from $238,175 to $241,125. 27, approve relaxation of city noise ordinance requested by Amquick Crane Rentals. Reason to place a crane on French Street to remove material from one roof and place it on the penthouse roof, Robert Wood Johnson Vertical Expansion Project. Date Saturday, September 30th, 2017. Time 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. Non-pro tunc. 28, approve amendment of resolution R051663, change order number 2 with Black Rock Enterprises LLC for Rutgers Village area asphalt pavement and curbing specification number 890-15. The amount is $36,400. Approval of this change will not constitute an increase of 20% or more of the amount of the original contract. 29, approve release of site performance bond in the amount of $36,400 and balance of site inspection fees in the amount of $1,820 to B&F Contractors from Bank of America, 245 Easton Avenue, Block 40, Lot 1.01. 30, approve amendment of resolution R011583, change order number 3 with Jack Construction Corporation, trading as Diamond Construction, for concrete ramps and other concrete work at various locations. Specification number 849-14. The amount is $4,570.15. Approval of this change order will not constitute an increase of 20% or more of the amount of the original contract. 31, approve on-premise raffle 50/50 at Rutgers University, Passion Puddle Park, JGRF Walktoberfest, Lippman Drive, New Brunswick, for juvenile diabetes, FDA International Central Jersey Chapter, Sunday, October 22nd, 2017. 32, approve request for solicitation of funds requested by the Rutgers University Dance Marathon to benefit Embrace Kids Foundation. The dates Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, October 13th through 15th, 2017, November 10th through 12th, 2017, December 1st through 3rd, 2017, February 16th to 18th, 2018, and March 2nd to 4th, 2018. Time is 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Location: George Street and Bishop Place, George Street and Seminary Place, George Street and Hamilton Street, George Street and Somerset Street, George Street and Albany Street, George Street and Church Street, George Street and Patterson Street, George Street and Byron Street, George Street and Livingston Avenue, George Street and Liberty Street, George Street and New Street, George Street and Commercial Avenue, George Street and Nickel Avenue, and Riders Lane and Dudley Road. 33, approve award of contract with PIM Corporation for water treatment plant raw water pipeline repair. Specification 622-17W, not to exceed $147,500. 34, approve amendment of resolution R091557, reason add hydraulic elevator located at 81 Remsen Avenue, Fire Museum, an additional $3,174 with Clifton Elevator Service Company Incorporated for elevator maintenance and repairs not to exceed $3,174. Approval of this change order will not constitute an increase of 20% or more of the amount of the original contract. 35, approve person-to-person transfer of liquor license from Patoki LLC to Kasai LLC, 350B George Street, liquor license number 1214-33-053-008. 36, approve request for use of city sidewalk requested by the Central Jersey Road Dog Repair Shop. Location: sidewalk start 320 Commercial Avenue to George Street, Remsen Avenue, Sanford Street, ending at 320 Commercial Avenue for Breast Cancer Awareness Walk, Saturday, October 7th, 2017, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. 37, approve award of contract.
Mr. President, excuse me, I'm going to ask that you pull that matter, 37.
37.
As much as we're waiting for some additional documentation that did not come by meeting time.
Okay. 38, then authorize tax collector to transfer credits on several tax and utility accounts. 39, approve Chapter 159 budget insertion, State of New Jersey Department of Human Services for a dial-a-ride grant, amount $56,315. Items going on, public discussion. All right. Call to order. Sunshine.
Okay. Council Vice President Anderson,
Here.
Council Member Egan,
Here.
Council Member Escobar, here. Council Member Socorro Ludwig, here. Council President Fleming is absent.
Okay, so go to this. Please be advised that the notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act have been complied with and satisfied, and that the annual notice, which gave sufficient notice of time and place and conduct of all public meetings of the Municipal Council of the City of New Brunswick, has been filed with the City Clerk, has been placed on an appropriate bulletin board in the lobby of City Hall, New Brunswick, New Jersey, and has been transmitted to the official newspaper for the City of New Brunswick, namely the Home News. Please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of silence, please, for our men and women serving our armed forces, those that have been killed, and for the unbelievable thing that happened in Las Vegas. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to accept the minutes from September 20th.
Motion made.
Second.
Second. Roll call.
Council Member Egan,
Yes.
Council Member Escobar, yes. Council Member Socorro Ludwig, yes. Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes. No public hearing. Ordinance is on second reading. Number one.
Yes, Mr. Council President, members of council, with respect to ordinance O-091703, as I advised during the agenda session, there is a typographical error with respect to the statute citation in section 1. I'm going to ask council to adopt a resolution to amend what now reads as NJSA 32 to 35 to NJSA 26:2B, 32-35. And upon adoption of that resolution, I would ask that this ordinance be carried for second reading until October 18th.
Okay, you want to make the resolution?
Sure, I make a motion to make the changes so it will be correct in JSA and the codes.
Your second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
I also make a motion to carry this ordinance to, for our next meeting, which I believe is the 16th?
18th.
18th, I'm sorry. October 18th,
6:30
6:30 p.m. Right here.
Right, yeah, that.
Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes. Second reading number 2, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title 3, Revenue and Finance, Chapter 3.28, Fee Schedule, Section 3.28120- Parks and Recreation Fees, to amend recreation fees, basketball and soccer leagues, and replacement of ID cards for teen center gyms. Does anybody from the public have anything to say?
Good evening, members of the council. Charles Cradville from New Brunswick Today editor. I just wanted to ask what the reason for the change is, and can you tell me what the existing fee structure is?
I think it's going to be the same existing fee, it's just that it hasn't been done by ordinance, so therefore we have to make it by ordinance, by law.
So you're just enshrining fees that already are being charged?
Basically, we're fixing it all up.
Okay, so there's no increases in the fees?
Not that I
There's no increase. These fees were recognized in our 2016 audit as having no trace to an ordinance. We had therefore established the fees administratively. The auditors wanted a ordinance to support the fees, and that's what we're doing. There was no change in what the Recreation Department has been charging.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Anybody else?
Move the ordinance?
Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes. We have no readings on, or no first readings.
That's correct. Okay.
We have resolutions 1 through et cetera, pulling the ones that we mentioned before. Anybody from the public like to talk on the resolutions? Seeing that? Try.
Thank you for your patience. I'd like to start with 709. This is the case Mr. James Campbell is bringing against the City of New Brunswick. First of all, is the first name right for the officer? Is it Carlo?
I believe it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Captain, no, if you by any chance know, that's the first name, Carlo.
Okay.
Yes.
And can you tell me how many other officers have been named as defendants? I know there was a $10,000 approval for another officer in the same case at the last meeting. This makes 2. Are there others down the road that we can expect you to appoint counsel for punitive damages?
There was a bunch of officers that were there, so this is the second one that that person has chosen to sue, so it's up to him.
Well, the complaint's been filed. I'm just asking how many other officers there might be that might need counsel in the case. Can you answer the law
I
directly?
don't know how many were there or whatever, how many he's going to go after, or if he's stopping at 2, or he's just going to basically sue everybody who's around. I'm not sure.
Mr. Council President, I could indicate that in the complaint that was filed, I believe there were 4 or 5 officers. I mentioned this lawsuit last time I was here. Actually, I had the file, and I don't have it now, so I can't tell you who the officers are. But as I indicated at the last meeting, I advised council and the public that there would be additional resolutions authorizing counsel on punitive damage counts in this particular complaint. So I think the answer to Mr. Crabtre's question, there are other defendants. Like I said, I believe 3, 4, maybe 5.
3 or 4.
The city's always named, so I'm not counting the city. Probably the arresting officers and officers involved in the processing.
And this 10,000 will be the standard amount that their attorneys all get, up to 10,000?
That's
You're
the
going to
initial
authorize?
authorization
That's-
provided by this resolution.
That's the usual $10,000.
Okay. I see the next resolution is another 10,000. This is for emergency maintenance at the water treatment plant. Can I hear about what the reason was for
Mr. Lambert?
Yes, please, council. This $10,000 is to ensure that we have enough funds for the remainder of 2017 with our current mechanical contractor that does the work for our heavy maintenance that we do.
this? Next one is Brunswick Lodging LLC, the red carpet inn for, I guess these are usually for displaced folks who need housing. Can you tell me about how much the contract is worth for a year?
I don't know, Mr. Lambert.
I'm going to see if Glenn might help me on that.
There's no set amount for it. It depends on how many people need the service. They charge a rate, I believe it's $65 a night for the room.
And so like last year, how much was it? It's a renewal, so what was last year's?
The idea,
No, I don't total it up at the end of the year. I mean, it's not a huge amount.
5 figures or 6 figures?
Probably in the 5 figures.
713, can you tell me what this law firm does for the city?
Mr. Council President, the law firm of Bosch, Zucker, Hatfield, Kathleen Hatfield is our labor counsel. She's been authorized as labor counsel, outside labor counsel, at the beginning of the year. Her firm is now merged with this Weiner Law Group, and that was the purpose of the resolution, to recognize the merger and her continued affiliation with that firm and representation of us on labor matters.
So labor matters includes negotiations with the unions and also personnel issues or anything else besides negotiations?
We involve personnel issues, collective bargaining negotiations, things of that nature. That's all inclusive.
Okay. And any idea approximately how much that contract is worth?
I think we awarded at a value of not to exceed $25,000, $20,000 each year.
715 is the currently an amendment to the memorandum with North Brunswick. Can you tell me what's changing?
it has to do with the pipe over that Fulton Square, but you can get a little bit more, Mr. Lambert.
Yes, once we start the project, for reasons having to do with the depth of the existing 20-inch main, we had to change the scope of work to include an additional 250 feet. This will bring the 20-inch water main to an approximate depth of about 4 feet. So,
Okay, so I asked last time, 726 on the mayor's legal bills. Is there a certain amount threshold that the city council has before they'll make the mayor explain himself in public to the council about the bills? It's already at $241,000 just for this part of the case. Is there a limit that you'll say you won't go above before?
I don't think we settled it, sir.
Statutorily, the council, the city has an obligation to provide a defense on these punitive damage counts, and that's what, unfortunately, the bill is to date.
Do you know the date of the trial? Is the trial set? Again, and it keeps getting pushed back.
That's what I understand too, Mr. Crackle. I'm not aware of the new trial date.
733 is a water treatment plant raw water pipeline repair. Is this the same one? I guess this is the same one we talked about last time. Can you tell me when the work will start and what the scope, the time frame is on completion?
Mr. Lambert.
Sure.
with the approval of council tonight, we'll be able to award the bid to the contractor and hope to have the work done and completed by the end of the year.
End of this year. Great. 734, I'm interested to hear about the elevator maintenance and repair. There was an elevator installed in this building, I guess?
Yes, second floor.
It's not functional though, right, presently?
It is functional.
It is, there's just nothing upstairs or?
There's nothing really to see upstairs yet.
Okay. So this is just the regular maintenance then? This is not any progress on completing the project, really?
No, so it's including them in the regular inspection and maintenance contract, and it's also capturing some damage that was done to one of the doors at this location.
Thank you for the answer. Can I get an update on when the second floor of the community center, the fire museum, might be open to the public? Any idea?
As soon as we can, we do some problems.
I'm not actively involved in the development of that museum. I think Director Rawls answered that question a couple meetings ago, but it is our intention to get it open as soon as we can.
And it's not an active construction project, right? There's no current work going on there, it's just stalled. Is that fair to say?
There's no work going on at the moment. I believe we are still waiting for some final architectural drawings before we go out to bid on the interior improvements of the museum.
And who has been retained to do those architectural drawings?
Mr. Valenti?
Please, the council. Design Ideas Group was the original designer. We have we're just waiting on 2 modifications to the drawings. The scope of work is fully developed at this point. We expect to hopefully have this out for bid, hopefully by the end of November, if not sooner.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I did want to ask about 737, but I know you pulled it from the agenda, so maybe you can give me a little leeway during the public comment. We can talk about the issues at the water utility then.
I'll let this comment. Anybody else? With the resolutions? Seeing none.
Second.
Roll call.
Council Vice President, Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
And Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes. Just a couple discussions, just a reminder, coming up on Saturday, we have our Oktoberfest from 12 to 5, closing off George Street and Byard Street, come on out. And Ciclovia is on Sunday from 11 to 4, starting with the Teen Hub Center, going all the way down Joyce Kilmer and Byard and Kirkpatrick, et cetera, ending up at the yard on College Avenue, so that's Saturday and Sunday. Hopefully the weather will hold off. Anybody else?
I just want to highlight, we approved today that the Brunswick Domestic Violence Awareness Coalition Day March, that is coming up on the 28th of October. I want to highlight the Mayor's campaign, wellness campaign throughout the city, so very good activities for the family in our community. And also, I just want to say thank you to the New Brunswick Fire Department, with the New Brunswick Latino firemen and the Balkans, because on Saturday I participated in the disaster relief efforts that they put together, and it was very successful. And just to let you know, they're going to continue until November 30th, right, Director?
That's right.
And so I want to say thank you. It was very encouraging to see our city come out, the residents, and it was really fun to see it. And hopefully we could put our little, help to those who are suffering right now in Florida, Texas, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. Thank you.
And I just want to acknowledge that today there was a groundbreaking ceremony for NBPAC, and it was a wonderful event. A lot of the dignitaries spoke about the project, and a lot of people came out to support it. It was a very nice show and a nice event.
Okay. Public discussion. Remember, you have 5 minutes. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening, my name is Teresa Spataro. I've been a 40-year resident of New Brunswick. I wanted to speak tonight to council to bring to their attention a problem that is happening, which is not an issue that we probably really want to take up, but it's concerning to a lot of people in our community. And that is that there are, as you know, I'm sure, feral cat colonies, maintained colonies in New Brunswick. These colonies have been trapped, they've been fixed and vaccinated and returned to their site and are living sometimes, oftentimes on private property. Unfortunately, one of the feeders in the past 30 days, sometimes since August 1st till now, has somehow pissed off your animal control officer, Brooke, and a conflict has arisen, and he is trapping fixed and vaccinated cats on private property and taking them, of course, when he traps them, they have to go to Blooming, they have to stay there for 7 days, and then because they're ferals and they can't be adopted, they're euthanized. This is costing the taxpayers of New Brunswick money. It doesn't need to cost them money because these cats are living, they're being cared for, they're fixed and vaccinated, and oftentimes they're on private property. And although this information has been provided to him, honestly, this is just a personality conflict. He's pissed off at this particular feeder, and all we're looking for, all I'm asking for is some intervention. I don't want to get Mr. Cook in trouble. I know he's got a lot of work to do, a very hard job as an animal control officer, but we would like to stop the persecution of specific colonies and the trapping of perfectly good, healthy cats that are fixed and vaccinated and having them euthanized, which is costing the taxpayers money. The other thing is some people have seen officers, police officers in the city of New Brunswick patrolling the areas of these colonies to give out tickets. Please tell me that the officers in New Brunswick have better things to do than stake out feral cat colonies. So this is if there's anyone that I can speak to or I can work with, along with Officer Burke and the feeder, to come to a resolution, I would be happy to work with anyone in the city or look to the city council to tell me who could help intervene in this issue. Thanks.
Who would,
Probably Russ Marquette would assist my office with that.
Teresa?
Okay,
Russell?
Russ,
I'll meet you afterwards.
thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Nancy Scalzone. I am a resident of Brereton Bartons for 35 years. I'm here to address a couple of things. 2 years ago, I came here and asked the council to adopt TNR in order to address the issue of cat overpopulation and curtail the number of the complaints that the city had received about the cats. Here in New Jersey, over 100 municipalities have listened to the experts and found that utilizing the practice of TNR, the complaints that they had no knowledge of how to address were being taken care of by the TNR of these cats. Inhumane trapping and terrified cats and carting them off to already overcrowded shelters is not the answer. These elected officials listen to the experts. You guys are not the experts. There are experts here tonight. We are here to educate you. Believe me, we know more about cats and their behaviors than you do. You keep ordinance on the books that are written years ago that are not relevant anymore and expect them to be behaved and adhered to. The population of New Brunswick is very different than when I was born and attended school here. It's changed drastically in numbers and diversity in the last 35 years that I've lived here. There isn't a day that will go by when I, as a volunteer at our adoption hours, that someone will approach me looking for help with cats that they feed in their yards or at work or behind a building somewhere. Do they contact animal control? Absolutely not. That's because they know the cats will be taken away and destroyed. And how is that method working for you? Has trapping and killing cats in New Brunswick reduced that population? And do you even think that you're spending more taxpayer money by having the Plumage kill cats on top of what you already paid her for services? Many of these people I talk to are willing to have us teach them humane trapping and donate to the spay and neuter of these cats and also their vaccination, which is part of spay and neuter, part of TNR. Why so many cats? Because they're found as kittens, and when they're no longer cute little kittens, they're dumped outside before they are altered. Don't forget the person who moves and leaves that cat behind, because the cat can catch mouse to survive. Spay and neuter and vaccinations can cost in the area of $300 or more at a veterinary office. That family on Delavan or Handy Street is going to put the cat outside because they can't afford that care. We sat down in the past and couldn't get past the discussion about cat complaints and how to make those complaints go away. How do you make the cat haters happy? Why do I do this? I do this to make those complaining cat haters happy. I do it to keep the cat lovers happy. I do it because these cats deserve to have healthier lives. I do it because I get to raise the bottle babies. I don't want to raise bottle babies that die in my hand anymore like they did last week. And this is what a lot of times we find in these communities, in these colonies. We want a TNR so that these cats don't reproduce anymore. I consider it a privilege to raise and care for the newborn and abandoned kittens. I'm I'm dedicated to raising them to be loving members of someone's family. I don't want to go through that heartache of them dying in my hands anymore. So let's put the nonsense aside and do the smarter thing and get going on implementing TNR. This isn't rocket science and it works. The other issue is about what Teresa spoke about. This woman that she spoke about has done more to address the cat issue in New Brunswick in 3 years than you can ever imagine. She has complete records for each TNR cat. She's removed countless kittens taken in by rescue, vetted them, and placed them for adoption. She takes the sick or injured cats and vets them on her own dime. In the month of August, 25 cats and kittens were taken from managed colonies by the ACO, where I'm in the department. That's 25 more cats that you paid to have killed to Bloomix, on top of what you already paid her. And he doesn't use, they're not trapped humanely either. They're left to thrash in traps, and they're being caught on catch poles. You're contracted to a private kill shelter, one of the worst in the state. Linda Blooming has a horrendous reputation known by the rescue community. It is not known if she even pays attention to the mandated 7-day hold on feral cats. And the ACO is clearly exhibiting a personal vendetta against this woman and targeting her managed colonies. We are requesting that he be told to cease these cruel activities and to attend to more serious issues, animal issues that we have in this city. There are more animal problems taking place in New Brunswick than we taking healthy vaccinated cats and kittens to Blooming's, adding to the monies that you already paid her. So I'm asking that we please sit down and work together on this. The experts are here to help you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Erica Dukova and I live in Somerset for 22 years. And I'm here to state support for trap, neuter, and return. Under TNR, cats are humanely trapped, neutered, vaccinated, earmarked for identification, and returned to their outdoor homes. TNR is the only humane and effective way to reduce the feral cat population. I've been doing TNR for almost 4 years. I've been hiding my work. I trap more than 400 cats in New Brunswick. Feral cats are the same species as pet cats, but feral cats are not adoptable. Feral means that the cats are not socialized to people and generally avoid contact with humans. Under TNR, these unadoptable cats are neutered and vaccinated. As a result, the feral cat population stabilizes and decreases. TNR makes feral cats healthier and ends the breeding cycle, which means no more kittens. It also ends mating behaviors including yowling, fighting, spraying, and roaming around. Feral cats in TNR programs are just as healthy as pet cats. They receive vaccination and ongoing management from generous volunteers. More and more communities are embracing TNR. According to a recent study, more than 340 cities and counties participate in TNR. They have adopted TNR because the old way of doing things, catching and killing cats, which costs the city money, the taxpayer money, has failed to address the feral population. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Good evening, my name is Robin Lane Simmons, and I was born and raised in New Brunswick. My parents were Edward and Angie Lane. Uncle Tommy Jennings was my great uncle. Alice J. Archibald, there's a park named after her, and Anna Williams, 102 years old when she passed away. So I have a lot of invested in New Brunswick. All of my memories about this town were good up until this TNR scenario. I've never actually heard of it being this bad, except maybe in New York City, where they're vigorously working with people on the ground to control the problem. Now, what I wanted to just say is my main point is, I don't know if you all realize that TNR works so effectively in the northern states like Vermont and New Hampshire that they had a drastic kitty shortage, and we were sending our New Jersey kittens up to Vermont and New Hampshire. Who ever heard of something so wonderful as that? There's no need to kill these animals It's inhumane. I've never heard of anything so drastic. But again, please remember, TNR works so effectively. It's working effectively in Middlesex County, in this great city of New Brunswick, so effectively that you're not seeing cats jumping off of buildings. They go in garbage occasionally, but they're snooping, as any animal does. But they don't do it for food. And they don't do it because they're sick. And believe me, they're not sick because you have people on the ground, like these people that you see here represented. They are on the ground immediately seeing if a cat is in any kind of need, any kind of stress. I guarantee you, if someone from the outside, from the community, makes a call to anybody from any of these agencies and says, listen, I'm seeing cats, that is not avoided. Somebody is on the ground within 2 hours. Ask any of these wonderful people that work so vigorously with TNR, as I do too. Please consider it. This is one of the towns, this is one of the greatest towns in Middlesex County. There are other towns that have TNR. I don't know why New Brunswick doesn't. Please adopt it, please. Please, you'll be doing a service to your own community. Thank you.
Danielle Moore. Well, I have to say I'm a little disappointed where I think I went through the resolutions about 5 times to make sure that I wasn't making a mistake due to where I was supposed to be seeing about the signs, the flashers for Lee and Delavan, Lee and Comstock, Handy and Remsen, and Handy and Ward. How come I do not see it on any of the resolutions where I was told at the last meeting it will be on today, due to where that was approved October 15, 2015 for $195,000, and wow, that's close to 2 years. Can you please tell me what's going on?
Was that resolution 30 included in that?
That was a change order to a contract with the vendor that Danielle Moore refers to. It's an old contract. It did some work for us in the past. There was a dispute about the payment of traffic direction services. Tom Valenti has since worked that out. That change order that is on the agenda tonight cleans up that old contract, and he is in negotiation with them on getting the new project that Danielle speaks of off the ground. The traffic crosswalk warning systems at Lee and Comstock, Lee and Delavan, Remsen and Handy, Remsen and Ward. The engineering office, Rich Moody and Tom Valenti, are trying to get that project off the ground. Now, I will say this, that what should be said. They are looking to no longer put the flashing lighting system in the roadway itself. They would like it raised on poles and at those same locations. Their experience has been whatever they put in the ground has gotten damaged by water, and they're trying to move away from that design. But those 4 locations that we're talking about are going to, they're the subject of this of a new contract that you did award 2 years ago. There was disputes with the vendor, and the engineering office is trying to resolve those disputes so that we can get this project off the ground. Tom or Rich, if you want to add anything that...
Specific to tonight's change order resolution, that is the resolution to the previous dispute that we had, which now allows us to open the door, and we are in the process of initiating the project. There's a couple tweaks to the contract. We're waiting on some change order, but it is our intention to have that done this fall, prior to the winter.
Okay, like I said, I know I keep getting told that, like I said, at each meeting, every other meeting, but like I said, to me, about 2 years, you keep saying you're going to do it. I hope you do get to it soon. Thank you. I would like to thank the Board of Education and the city for replacing their sidewalk on Lee Avenue for Livingston School, making it safer for our children to walk through there. Also, I would like to get back to, I didn't have enough time last meeting for middle school, when I mentioned to you that it's 35 miles per hour in the area of middle school. I asked about where having flashers in front of the school. That was where you told me that, okay, New Brunswick and North Brunswick has teamed up to go against the county to reduce the speed to 25 miles per hour. And the county has never did it. But I think there was a little confusion. What I'm talking about are the flashers that says school, speed limit 15 miles per hour when the kids are getting out of school. Wow, you have them for Roosevelt School, you have them for Livingston School. North Brunswick has for their school on Livingston Avenue. I'm asking the city as soon as possible, because wow, I'm still shaking from earlier due to where, wow, the child came so close this afternoon and getting hit right there due to where I'm not going to blame it on the cars all the time, even though they're doing their speed limit, but the children also, maybe the Board of Education can speak up also with telling the kids to stop running across the street to catch the bus for the M14. That was where President Fleming, he said he was going to mention to Captain Miller about if it's possible that due to where the Board of Education doesn't have enough security, that it can be a little help from an officer there. But like I said, to show you the pictures with the kids, like I said, running across, the picture is in here. Like I said, how close child came to, with the car braking to stop. But like I said, this is not something, okay, I hope you look into doing, like I said, I hope you do take action, because like I said, it's getting pretty scary. Even if any of you take the time to, when school is getting out up there, to come see what I'm talking about. So I don't think it should be that hard to ask the county to put the flashers up there to let people know, okay, school is out, 15 miles per hour. Here's the pictures. Like I said, do you see where the kids running across, where traffic is very heavy? So if you can tell me, so far until you do something about it, would the police department, an officer be able to come up there and help out, or the Board of Education can put an extra security guard?
Okay, well, the Board of Education, you take up with them, Captain Miller, if there's anybody free or whatever, if you could just look into it, maybe you can, I'll appreciate it.
And then also, I see and I hear that you're short of crossing guards again. Maybe it's time for a raise to bring more crossing guards out for safety. Is it true that you're short of crossing guards?
Mr. Council President, we're at full complement on crossing guards. There's only one intersection that doesn't have a crossing guard currently, but we're working on that.
Okay, so there's one that doesn't have, there's a full complement of crossing guards.
Well, I've noticed that some areas that usually has 2 crossing guards only have 1 now. And it's, like I said, getting pretty scary due to where you don't have a backup to help.
Okay, any special areas that we could look into there?
Oh, yes, that's Livingston Avenue, right by Redshaw School.
Mr. Marquez is writing it down.
Okay, thank you. And then also, maybe someone from the police department or the fire department can explain what happened on the corner of Livingston and Wellington where, wow, the fire hydrant was taken down, the sign was taken down. Did you have a very serious motor vehicle accident there recently with a fire hydrant? Like I said, it broke off and the sign broke down.
What sign is down?
That's on the corner of Livingston and Wellington.
What kind of sign?
Just stop sign, I believe. Anyone can speak, or when will the fire hydrant be replaced?
Everybody from the fire?
I have no information on it, but the hydrant being replaced is the water department.
Oh, okay.
Is there anything on that, Mr. Operator? You got any, you can call on Livingston and Wellington?
We'll address that tomorrow.
Okay.
If it hasn't already done.
So, we never had report the fire hydrant got missing there.
Okay.
Okay.
We have plenty of hydrants, we can certainly get it in. Thank you.
Stop sign still down?
Like I said, yes, the last time, I just didn't get a chance to take the picture, but yes, it's been down for a little while
Is
now.
that Public Works or who's it?
No, it's been discussed.
Engineer? Okay, Mr. Valenti. Thank you. There you go.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening once again, Mr. Council President. In light of the issue that's been brought up by these great people here tonight and the resolution that you pulled that's of an important nature tonight, I'd like to ask that you give me an extra 5 minutes.
I'll just start, we'll see.
Okay. So, first of all, I think it's important that the council respond to some of the points that were made. I'm a cat lover. I love cats. I want to know what your response is to the claims that we're sending cats to one of the worst shelters and that they're pleading with you to cease these cruel activities that animal control officers are doing. What is the council's position on this? What do you have to say about that?
Well, I think we said that Mr. Marqueta was going to meet with them and take down all their specifics and go over that and find out what exactly is going on.
Okay. Has there been issues with the animal control officer before?
I'm not aware of it.
Not to my knowledge.
It was pretty recently that the animal control was brought under the police, correct? Like 2 years ago?
Yes.
Okay, and whose idea was that?
I'm not sure.
Don't recall. Kind of a collective decision to put a little better control over it. It was taken out of the health department.
Understood. And so could someone file an internal affairs complaint against an animal control officer?
I imagine you can file a complaint against anybody.
Would internal affairs take it?
Captain Miller?
Mr. Cradwell is referring to internal affairs as covered by the Attorney General guidelines. The answer is no, that applies to law enforcement officers only. But you can make a complaint against any city officer. It doesn't fall under the Attorney General guidelines. It'll fall under a complaint made against any city employee.
Can you tell me where would be the best place to file a complaint?
Sure, send the complaint over. We'll see who can respond to it. Seems to be a quick rush to judgment on whether Mr. Burke is a fair and effective animal control officer.
So there's three sides to every story.
I'm not necessarily saying I'm interested in filing a complaint. I'm just asking, what is the procedure? Does one exist, is my question. So where would be the best place for someone, should they choose to file a complaint against an animal control officer?
You could file it, there's a lot of, if you want, you go to the police department, does oversee animal control. You can file it from my office. Like I said, it's not going to be handled the way the Attorney General dictates. Police officer investigate it, but we get it in the right direction.
Thank you. All right. So I do want to ask about this situation at the water utility. There have been 2 men indicted for serious crimes that might be costing the people of New Brunswick money. Is there any idea how much money the water utility lost as a result of the improper and illegal manipulation of the bills? Is there any estimate as to the total losses?
Mr. Council President, members of council, first off, I don't think it's fair for Mr. Cradwell to characterize this question like that. Has been no conviction. These individuals recently were indicted. I know what the allegations are, but to make a statement as if that determination has been made, I don't believe is accurate or fair. That particular matter is the subject of an ongoing investigation, which even if we knew about it, we couldn't discuss it because it's an ongoing criminal investigation. So I don't think we can answer Mr. Cradwell's question about the details of who did what or allegedly did what.
That's not what I asked, though. I asked, what is the total cost?
That would be part of the investigation, in my opinion.
And the investigation is still ongoing?
Pending criminal matter.
There were indictments on Friday. I mean, that's usually the conclusion of the investigation comes prior to indictment. Now there's indictments, and the indictments state that these guys had a scheme where they were manipulating bills. And I want to know if there's any estimate to the total cost of the city, because this is an issue for the city council. I don't want to hear the lawyer answer. I want to hear my elected officials tell me what the estimate is of how much this costs the taxpayers, or do we not know? Is that why we're hiring an accounting firm?
I don't know. I have no idea. But I think that's probably, somebody's going to look into it in their investigation.
Can you tell me how was this firm selected? O'Connor Davies, I think it's called?
O'Connor Davies, by reputation.
So there was no bidding process?
This was going to be a non-fair and open award.
Okay. And which office of the O'Connor firm is going to be working on the case?
Cranford.
Several. Cranford office, okay. And so they have experience with this type of thing?
They have experience in, they're a large accounting firm. They apparently have forensic accounting experience. We have talked with this group about evaluating the current billing system, identifying its strengths and weaknesses, and making recommendations on how that billing system ought to go forward. We did not award tonight because if you do a non-fair and open award, you need to have a certain certification about political contributions. I had one form in my file, but not the exact one that the legislation requires, so we did not get it in time, so we pulled it from tonight's meeting, but do plan to re-agendize it in 2 weeks.
Next, can you tell me what the impetus was to hire the firm? Was it related to the criminal accusations?
As far as I know, we were talking about this months ago, just doing everything that we could do to make sure everything around here was working correctly, including the water department.
Right.
The water billing system.
This contract is directly related to the water billing system, the business office. We were negotiating or having discussions with O'Connor Davies back in August, while the award of contract is days after the indictment. We were talking with them well in advance. We are concerned about what the indictment says, that a senior account clerk manipulated the system. So we want to look into how that's possible and how we can prevent that from happening again.
Thank you. And I assume that at the next meeting you'll hire this firm, and I would like to know, will the city publicize in its entirety the findings of this review and analysis?
I don't know. Let's get the analysis first.
Well, okay, no, I don't support that then. I think if you're hiring the firm with the taxpayers' money, we should have a promise from you that we're going to find out what they find out, and it's not going to be kept in-house. I want to know which landlords were getting their bills lowered by paying bribes. I want to know. And
that's not what this.
Please.
Let me just. That's not what this contract is intended to do. What you're discussing may be a separate matter, but it's not what this contract is intended to do. It's not intended to identify those who may have been a party to this. To the two folks who have now since been indicted.
Perhaps I've made some assumptions and jumped to some conclusions here. In that case, I would like the city to investigate which bills have been manipulated. Because surely your database keeps track of the bills, and there can be, an auditing firm, an accounting firm could reasonably look into this, and I think that should be a part of what they look into. They should look into which bills were manipulated and by how much, and how much it cost the city. And that information should be shared with the public and with the Attorney General's office, who's prosecuting these two men who were allegedly doing these schemes. That makes common sense to me, that the city has the database, so the city has the power and the ability to look at that database with a critical eye. Now that we know, this is just like what happened, sadly, with Ed O'Rourke. We saw that he was lying and covering up problems with the drinking water, and that was made public. And then the city, to its credit, started to try to change things and started to try to see, well, how is this possible that this could happen? Well, there was no redundancy, and so the changes were made in that regard, and other changes were made about the systems and the checks and the balances. That must happen now because we have indictments against two, not just one. This was now two people, making for a total of 3 at the water utility, that were allegedly cooking the books and benefiting themselves at the expense of every ratepayer in the city. And so since you guys raised the rates, 5% every year, much more than the cost of inflation, and 6% starting next year, I think the public is owed a response, and the public is owed an investigation, an honest, internal investigation that is shared with the public when it's done. And I hope that this firm, if you're going to bring in an accounting firm to look at the billing practices, that will be among the things they look at, because that's the biggest story I'm interested in. And I also think it might have since we don't know the value, we need to know whether this is a 5-figure crime or a 6-figure crime or more. We want to know. These folks were at the utility for a long time. And just like Ed O'Rourke probably didn't just do one thing wrong one time, it was a pattern. I think we need to look at the history, look at the data, and find out the extent of this corruption, because otherwise we're never really going to get past it. And so I hope that the city will do that. I do have some additional questions, if you'll allow.
Questions, yes, no speeches.
Okay, good. Can you tell me the rank of Police Officer William Olds?
I don't know. Got it, no.
Sorry. He was a sergeant. Was it true he was a lieutenant before?
He's a sergeant.
Sergeant.
I read on the city website he was promoted to lieutenant previously, so what happened there?
Don't know.
Mr. Anderson, you want to discuss personnel matters, and the public, Mr. Crabtree knows that. I don't know what he's getting at here. I don't really know the answer to the question, but if it dealt with any type of issue with personnel, whether it be something internal with the police department, we don't discuss it in public forum.
I believe it's public knowledge what rank all of the officers are. And
You got his answer.
You got your answer, he's a sergeant.
right, that's not what it says on the city website. If you go to the city website, it'll say he's a lieutenant. And you've got a picture of him up here being sworn in as a lieutenant. So I'm going to make an assumption here that he was the lieutenant that was demoted as a result of an internal affairs.
I don't personally know that. You can check with Captain Miller if you want sometime.
Okay. I mean, that's the only way a lieutenant could become a sergeant, right? You get demoted.
Maybe he decided he didn't want that.
Maybe he decided he didn't want that job. That would be a first. Well, since Mr. Chevy brought it up, I just wanted to say, I'll be quick. I want to say that there's some great police in this town, and I've had to call on them for help sometimes. And so I was organizing a protest to impeach the president. They came and protected us. New Brunswick today, we received a threatening phone call about some of my comments I made at the last council meeting at this microphone, and the police helped us out. I just want to say that New Brunswick today, we're accountable. Every article on our website has a name.
Speech, you have a question?
I know, I'm
over 5 already.
I know, I'm just trying to make a point. Anybody wants to go home,
Don't
can go
make
home.
points, don't make points, ask questions.
I
I'm trying to give you some breaks. If you have a question, we'll answer, but I don't want to hear any speeches, comments, criticisms, temper
You
tantrums.
don't want to hear any criticisms. My criticism is that
That's
internal
my
affairs is not accountable.
Question.
That if somebody is demoted, and if somebody is,
Go
there
over
was
it.
another lieutenant that was suspended, right, for 10.25 days. There was a sergeant suspended for 3 months. All of that this year. But the police department won't reveal the names of the individuals. Every article on our website has a name, because we're accountable for what we do.
We really have to do that now in front of the public meeting? The personnel matters, we've already been told that we're not.
That's on your website. I read it on your website. Under internal affairs, you can read the reports and it'll say. But my qualm is simply, there's no name on it. You're just saying a lieutenant was demoted to sergeant. And you're not holding the individuals accountable. And I don't think that is ideal. And I think in the city where detectives were running brothels, in the city where unarmed black men had been shot and killed by the police, and in the city where 81 internal affairs investigations were mishandled by the dude who was in charge of it. And he was indicted for it.
1 minute.
I think in that type of a city, we need more accountability, not less. And internal affairs should release the names of the individuals who are punished and not just say their rank. That's my view, and I hope you agree with me. Do you agree?
Mr. Mr. Council President, let me just clarify, and I don't say this to solicit more comment, I think we're on to 10 minutes at this point. The Attorney General guidelines are very specific as to what can be released, and what has been released is all that can be released, so it's not a discretionary matter for the police department to release names. The Attorney General guidelines are very specific in saying you do not release names. It's my understanding of them, that's my reading of them.
You put Alexi Wallace's name on the city website when he was demoted. Why not Lieutenant Sergeant Olds?
The Attorney General's guidelines govern police officers, sworn police officers.
Exactly. The police are being held to a lower standard than the other city employees, and that's the qualm I have. They are no better than the inspectors or the water utility guys. They deserve to be held to at least the same standard. They have badges and guns and the right to arrest people, and they've killed people in this city. They should be held to a higher standard, and what's going on is wrong in this city. I'm going to keep standing up against it. Thank you for the time.
I'll be brief because I think you people probably want to leave. But we were talking before. My name is Richard Kerman, and I have a little bit of experience with cats. I worked at the Franklin Animal Shelter as a volunteer. I taught science for 32 years, and I'm a member of an organization called Cats. What we do is we neuter and spay cats. We give them rabies vaccinations, and we put them back where they originally lived. Now, we've spoken about the cost of euthanizing cats. 3 years ago, I tried to do some research and find out what Linda Blooming was charging the city of New Brunswick to euthanize a cat. I came up with the figure $85 per cat. Are you aware of that? Do you know that it's costing taxpayers $85 to kill a cat?
No.
That was 3 years ago. It's probably well over 100 right now. Do you know what it costs taxpayers for TNR? Zero. It's all done. It's done with voluntary contributions. Now, I've lived here for 30 years. I paid taxes for 30 years. I don't want my taxes to be spent on euthanizing cats. I want my taxes to get better teachers, more police officers, and I want to tell you, I have no axe to grind against animal control. I worked for animal control at the Franklin Animal Shelter. I liked the people. They were decent human beings. They seemed to genuinely care for animals. This is a question of doing what's right. Remember, we're setting a standard for children. What we do, you think children don't see what we do? You think they don't hear what we do? They know that we're killing animals, and they don't understand it. There's no reason to kill healthy feral cats. Absolutely none whatsoever. Search the newspapers. Look for a report that says a person was walking down the street and a feral cat jumped on him and bit him. You will not find that. It does not happen. Now, I live near the Raritan River, and the Raritan River has a marshland around it. There are raccoons, there are skunks, and there are possums. Occasionally, they end up in a trap. I watched Animal Control Officer Kathy Murphy very gently pick up the trap with a big raccoon. I'm talking about a 20-pound raccoon. And I asked her politely, what are you going to do with this raccoon? I mean, this thing looks dangerous. She said, the law says I have to find a suitable place and I have to release it. So very gently, she lifted the raccoon, she put it in her truck, and she drove off to the woods to release it. Now, if that wasn't a raccoon, if that was a cat, that cat would have ended up with Linda Blooming, and that cat would have been euthanized. Tell me how it's fair that a 20-pound raccoon that's snarling and that looks like it wants to bite somebody is treated with more respect and more dignity than a cat. How is that possible? And how do you think the cat got there to begin with? Some homeowner got tired of the cat or had to move and said, I don't know what to do with this animal. I'll put it in the street. Certainly, it'll take care of itself. It doesn't. Cats are not wild animals. They can't. There are only so many mice around for them to kill. So what happens to the cat? Well, people like Erica, she goes with food that doesn't cost the taxpayers a penny, and she feeds them. And then she gets punished for feeding the cats, because after all, we're supposed to let them die. Or we're supposed to catch them, give them to Linda Blooming, and let her kill them. $85 a cat 3 years ago. Do we have that much money? Can we throw it away? Why not improve the schools? Why not hire a few more police officers? Why not build an animal shelter with that money? I mean, really, we're throwing the money away. You may as well just take that $85 and put it down the sewer. It's a waste of taxpayer money. I want to know when people who want to do the TNR, when we can meet with somebody from the city council and talk and have a discussion, not a speech, but a real discussion where you can
We
ask.
said that after the meeting here, Mr. Marquette is going to make himself available to the whole group to discuss what's going on.
Okay, do you think one meeting would be sufficient?
I don't know, he'll determine, Mr. Marquette will determine what goes on. Maybe he can have some more.
Okay, thank you for your patience.
Oh, thank you. Anybody else in public?
Hi, my name is Doris Elmy. I've been living in New Brunswick all my life. I work in New Brunswick as well. I just want to know one question. Why is the water going up 6%?
I think we did that a while back, but water rates,
Yeah, why is the water going up 6%?
Mr. Lockman or Mr. Lambert, which one do you think? You
The
remember?
rates were raised to cover the expenses of the utility. At the time of the rate increase, we talked about the fact that the raw water charge is going to go up because of the capital improvements the Water Supply Authority has to make in the DNR Canal as well as at Round Valley Reservoir. We spoke of the problem with the hydrilla weed in the canal this past year. Required us to buy carbon and add carbon to the system. That was going to have an adverse effect on the sewer utility as well. That is why we go every year for a rate increase. It is structured such that it covers the expenses of the utility. I know it sounds unfair, but it is.
Yeah, because we have to pay for water.
We do.
Our water bill is really high. And now that I'm sitting here for the first time, and I'm listening, and I'm like, well, why? You know, and then I have, believe me, we have went downstairs, we have asked, and nobody could never give us any answers. So now, you know, as a resident, I would like to know, and a taxpayer of New Brunswick, why is the water bill so high? Because our water bill is like
Is your
crazy.
usage high?
Not really. They came out and they changed everything, but the 6%, like you said, is like, that's high.
I know this doesn't make it any easier, but our rates are some of the lowest in Middlesex County. We do have our own utility. We do bring raw water into the treatment plant. We clean it, we disinfect it, we distribute it to our customers as best we can. But if you have answers that are not, or questions that are not answered, I will make sure you spend time with the water utility director.
They also never outsourced, you know, we never went to like American Water or anybody, we do everything here in the city, like Mr. Lott.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Anybody else from the public? Seeing none?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. Roll call.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig. Yes. Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.